Coming up on the Chiefs Report, we are going to take a look at some free agency grades so far. We're just into week 2 of NFL free agency, so kind of want to recap what happened in the first week for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll hand out letter grades for the 5 players the Chiefs have signed, and then we'll also talk about the outgoing players. We'll actually do that first here, kind of get that out of the way. You look at some of the Chiefs' losses, and yeah, they've lost a good few players, right? I mean, Orlando Brown to the Bengals. You bring in Jawaan Taylor, which we'll talk about. That's an interesting kind of in one ear, out the other type of situation. Juju Smith-Schuster to the Patriots. We've talked about that. I would have considered paying that contract, but Brett Veach opted not to. Andrew Wiley, I thought he might get a nice little contract. He did. Good for him. He goes and follows Eric Bieniemy to Washington. Juan Thornhill to Cleveland. He's been trying to recruit McCole Hardman as well, who is still expected to sign elsewhere in free agency. Kalen Saunders goes to the New Orleans Saints. That's a guy I would have liked to bring back. I was a little puzzled by the Michael Burton one because we know the Chiefs want a fullback, so keep an eye on that. They should be in the market for a fullback. Frank Clark was released. He hasn't signed anywhere yet, but it would take his market just plummeting and bringing him back for dirt cheap for him to return. I think he will sign elsewhere. So 7 notable players at this point, likely a few more with McCole Hardman and potentially a few others, Derek Nottie maybe. So, yeah, the Chiefs have certainly lost some guys. Now, what's been your favorite Chiefs signing so far? We are going to break down the 5 Chiefs signings up to this point in free agency. So curious where you guys land on this one. What has been your favorite Chiefs signing up to this point in time? This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, just drop a name. Favorite Chiefs signing so far. All right, let's hand out some grades here. We'll start with Jawaan Taylor. I obviously referenced him when with Orlando Brown leaving. C+, and there's a lot of reasons for that. C+ isn't bad. It's above average, but a little concerning potentially because, for one, they gave him a massive contract. I mean, they made him the 4th highest paid tackle in the NFL, and he's a good player, but he still has flaws, right? I mean, you look at his PFF grades last year. His overall grade was under 60. Now, I think it's a bit skewed because the Chiefs clearly brought him in here because they felt like he was a better pass protector than Orlando Brown, which he did grade better than Brown as a pass protector. Run blocking wasn't graded highly. Hopefully he can improve there. He's graded higher earlier in his career, so hopefully it was just a down season in that regard. Gave up 5 sacks. Orlando Brown gave up 4, so pretty similar. Penalties 7. I think Brown had 6 or 7, so that was pretty even. But let's be honest, Brett Veach is taking a bit of a risk here. Letting Orlando Brown walk and signing Jawaan Taylor to play left tackle when he hasn't done it in the NFL is not a sure thing. But I think we do have to say this. Brett Veach deserves the benefit of the doubt. He deserves us to trust him. I sat up here about this time last year and said, I am shocked that he's trading Tyreek Hill and I wouldn't have done it, and I didn't like the move. And look, there will be moves in the future I won't like. But what I will always say moving forward, until proven otherwise, Brett Veach deserves the benefit of the doubt because he has made the correct move much more often than not. So clearly they see something in Jawaan Taylor. He's a younger player, someone that can grow in this offense. So until proven otherwise, I'm going to be optimistic, but my personal grade, it's an overpay. There's uncertainty going from one tackle to another. He's never played left tackle. C+, there's some benefit of the doubt weighing into that grade, but on paper, I don't love it, if I'm being completely honest. Now, who do you guys think is the better offensive tackle? You could argue Orlando Brown's more talented, and maybe for the scheme, Jawaan Taylor fits better, which is why the Chiefs did it. Type JT for Jawaan Taylor, OB for Orlando Brown. Let me know in the comment section below who you guys think the better offensive tackle is. Next up is Charles Omenihu, the edge rusher. I'm going to give this one a B grade. I like this move. B is really good, well above average. It's not elite. Those are the 8 categories, but this is a really good move. You needed players on your defensive line after moving on from Frank Clark. Omenihu is a young, ascending player, and I think something that carries weight here for me is, one, you didn't completely break the bank. Maybe it's a slight overpay, but that's the nature of free agency. But 2, Charles Omenihu played with some damn good players in San Francisco, learning from guys like Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and now he's in line for a bigger role in Kansas City, and I think he's ready for it. Coming off the best year of his career, 4.5 sacks is a bit low, but 16 QB hits, that's a sign that he was disruptive, just didn't always end up being the person who finished the play, had a forced fumble. I think his role will only increase. I've got him penciled in as a starter right now, opposite of George Karlaftis. You've got Chris Jones. I still think bringing in a nose tackle next to Jones is going to make sense. Maybe Derek Nottie returns, but I like Omenihu. He's on the rise. I think he's going to be a solid player. Nick Allegretti, I'm going to go A- here, not because he's been the best player so far. In fact, he's been the worst. But the value is just terrific. Contract details aren't out, which tell me it's going to be a one-year vet minimum. He's a backup. But these are the type of moves you have to make to have a well-rounded roster. I told you guys when they re-signed Allegretti. This type of move is what makes a good team great. You find a depth center guard hybrid in the 7th round of the NFL draft back in 2019, and now you're going to have him for a 5th season. 7th round picks don't make the roster a lot of the time. And not only has he made this team every year, he started 12 games in his career, most of those, if not all, in 2020, the year the offensive line fell apart, and he actually played pretty well left guard. He could play guard. He could play center. So now you're getting a 5th year out of a 7th-round pick and a guy that can plug in and play at multiple spots if needed and hold his own. That's valuable. It's not going to cost much. A-. I like bringing back Nick Allegretti. I thought he might be gone, to be honest. Subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any of our Chiefs content here on YouTube. Trying to bring you guys the best coverage possible. So hit that sub button. News, rumors, updates. We cover you guys on all of it here on the channel. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Don't miss any of it here on the Chiefs Report. Next up is Drue Tranquill, the linebacker. Staying in the division, coming over from the Chargers, A freaking plus. I think this is such a good value signing. It's 1 year, I think $3 million base, up to $5 million in total money. And he graded out so well last year, especially in coverage, but he can also blitz. He had 5 sacks last year for the Chargers, 146 tackles. He knows the division. He's good in coverage, like I mentioned. He does a little bit of everything, and on paper, he's your 3rd linebacker, which I find very interesting. You look at this depth chart because Nick Bolton's the middle. Willie Gay's been the will backer. Drue Tranquill played a lot of will for the Chargers, which really fascinates me about this move because I'm wondering, okay, is Tranquill going to play Sam and they're going to run a lot of 3 linebacker sets? Could Willie Gay be on the move? Are they going to substitute more often? And on 3rd downs, take Nick Bolton out on key passing downs, go with Gay and Tranquill? I don't know. He also wore the green dot for the Chargers defense last year, which means he was the quarterback of their defense. That's who the coordinator, Brandon Staley, was talking to and feeding the plays to. So this is a guy who turned down offers from 5 other teams, according to reports. He wanted to come here. He wanted to win. I love this signing. I think the value is fantastic. I also like the signing of Mike Edwards coming over from Tampa Bay. B+ here. Figures to play that 3rd safety role. Edwards coming over from Tampa Bay, I think on the same deal, 1 year up to $5 million, $3 million in base. So pretty much the same contract Tranquill got, according to reports. And he's a good 3rd safety. Now, his grades from PFF would say that he had a down year, and I would agree with that. He definitely got beaten coverage a decent amount. But he can start. He can come off the bench. He can rotate in. He's a special teams guy. 80-plus tackles last year, 3 breakups, 2 picks. If my 3rd safety is getting me multiple turnovers, that's really good value. He will be the 3rd safety for this team unless Brian Cook just isn't ready for another bigger role, and that's another reason why I like it. If Brian Cook, who was a rookie last year and served as the 3rd safety and played quite a bit, isn't ready for an increased role, well, Mike Edwards has done it. He can plug in and play if needed next to Justin Reed. Obviously, I think this team will miss Juan Thornhill a bit, but I think Edwards is a nice recovery here for cheaper to be your 3rd safety. Cook, they feel like, is ready for a bigger role, so I like it. He's got versatility. He can start. He can come off the bench. I'm a big fan of the move. So grade the Chiefs free agency moves so far. Certainly a move or 2 still to come potentially, but let me know how you guys feel. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and drop a grade down in the comments. I settled on a B-. You could say a B. I like the moves. I don't love them all. There's some reservations for me with the Jawaan Taylor deal. But again, I'm going to give Veach the benefit of the doubt. I think it's a good move. Obviously, you've lost some pieces. On paper, when you trade for Orlando Brown and you thought you'd lose him after 2 years, you'd say no way, but that has happened. So B-, it's good. It's not incredible, but remember, this is a team that's got to make tough decisions. They just do. You've got big contracts on the books. So B- for me. I like the move so far. I don't love them, but let me know what you guys think. All right, hit that subscribe button here on the Chiefs Report. We will continue to give you honest and entertaining analysis, news, rumors, everything else. So subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you never miss anything surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs here on the Chiefs Report.